Today, I wanted to talk to you about just one project that I've been working on in the past 10 days or so. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that my favorite neckline for the garment and the model of a jumper is high neck, turtleneck, and I usually knit raglan sleeves, raglan construction. Actually, let me take this off. Now, it's the model that I call them models, but yeah, I suppose that's how you would call it, like the construction. I really like how raglan fits, and I really like high necklines. This is a store-bought jumper, and I have a few of them in black. It's just something that I like to wear. It's my style. This one is a rollover, and when I buy them, because the materials are thinner, I actually do like them to roll over as far as the neckline is concerned. However, when I knit, because the material is not as thin, I tend to make the necklines just as a funnel neck, just as I think it's called mock turtleneck or funnel neck. The same like this, but just in one layer. And that's because otherwise I would get too hot, because my yarn, either the store-bought yarn that I knit with or my handspun, is thicker. Nonetheless, this still remains my favorite jumper sweater construction. So high neck and raglan yoke sleeves. But I kind of got bored of knitting just raglan jumpers, and not of wearing them. It's still the ones that I go for. I do have one that I have knitted a few years ago, which is circular. I have made it up as I went, and it's nice, but I tend to kind of reach for the raglans. But I got, as I said, I got a bit bored knitting that construction. So I wanted to try something else. I have a few drop shoulder as well, jumpers, but the way that I do those is that I would seam them in the end to close the shoulders. But this time I wanted to do something which is kind of open neckline. Again, trying to organize my thoughts here. I do have one raglan which has a wider neckline. I don't like ribbing how it looks when it's stretched a bit. So I prefer how the ribbing looks when it's not stretched and when it's just tight around the neck. So this raglan that I have that has a wider neckline, it's okay, I wear it, but it's not my go-to for going out. I wear it more like a sweatshirt around the house. It's a cognac colored one. I showed it in one of the videos about 2 years ago. So what I wanted to do this time is to make a jumper that has a wider neckline, but without ribbing. And I wanted something that I can wear a shirt underneath, so I can take the collar out and to kind of fit as that missing part into my wardrobe, because I can't really wear shirts with the turtlenecks that I make. So I decided to do that, and I made it as a drop shoulder construction. But what I did is, after I have cast on for the neckline, I have worked the increases straight away rather than sewing them later on. Now, my logic is that with the raglan construction, you typically increase in 4 places. Here, so these lines like this, and on the back as well. And you would increase on both sides of those 4 points every second round, typically, not always, but typically. So that would create 8 increases every second round, which basically, if I had only 2 points of increase here, which I did now, I would need, in order to have 8 increases every second round, and I only have 2 points, I would need to increase every round, which means 4 increases, but I would have to increase every round. And that's what I did. So I cast on 60 stitches, and then I have increased every round on this side, this side, this side, and this side until I have reached the size that I wanted here. And then I have split for the sleeves, meaning that I was knitting front and back and then joined back in the round. I'm probably not explaining very well. I will show you when I show you the whole jumper. But what I used is that last year and over a whole year, I was spinning a blend of, let me tell you exactly what's inside. A blend of 2 types of Coriadel. One is brown and one is gray. White merino, light brown alpaca, and black llama. So I have blended those 5 different fibers, although there is 2 types of Coriadel. And I have made handspun yarn, a lot of it. I have a lot of it. And this is how it looks. This is how it came out. I left it as a single ply. So I wanted to use that, but because it's single ply, I wanted to pair it with something else. And what I decided to pair it is this Drops brushed alpaca silk. I have a lot of it, and I thought this color, the color is, it's brown. But I can put, if I remember, in the description the actual code of the color. So I have paired these two to create this jumper. Now I'm going to show you a bit of the process of knitting it and all this, and then I will come back to try it on for you guys together with the shirt, so you see how it came out. This color of Drops brushed alpaca silk is the one that I have the most of. I think I have 20 something balls of this one, this brownie beige. So I decided to use this one, and I thought that it's going to go well with my handspun. at the end of the body, I didn't try it on. That's what happens when I get excited about a project. I'm at the end of the body now, and I'm going to start the ribbing. So we'll see how it turns out once the body is done. I'll try it on before I do the sleeves. One thing that I'm a bit worried is, it shouldn't be a problem, but the increases on the shoulders, they pucker a bit. I think maybe I have done it too tight, or the handspun in this part was a bit thicker. However, when I stretch it like this, it doesn't seem to be a problem. We'll see. Okay, are we in focus? Okay, so this is how the jumper came out. And when I edit the footage, I'm gonna see whether it shows well here. If not, I'm going to record me standing up so you can see better. But if it came out okay, then I'm not gonna include that footage. So the fabric that it created, those two, I'm very unorganized today, can you tell? So as I showed you before, these are the two yarns that I have used. So one is my handspun and the other one is brushed alpaca silk by Drops. And the fabric that it created, I'm gonna come closer for you to see. It's this beautiful marled, I mean, it has the handspun kind of coloring to it because these are all natural colors, but the alpaca silk kind of binds them all together and it gives it this beautiful fluff. The fabric is lovely. I have used 4.5mm needles, and what I have, the number of stitches for the neck, it was 60 that I have cast on. That obviously depends on you and your sizing. I'm not writing a pattern, but because it's quite easy, I'm just saying in case you want to improvise. So I have cast on. Don't look at this neckline now, because that was added in the end. I have cast on 60 stitches here, and then I was increasing in these 2 points on one side and on the other, here and here, every round. So there was 4 increases every round, and I did that 25 times. So it added another 100 stitches. So the whole body was 160 stitches, 4.5mm needles. And once I have increased 25 times, so I added another 100 stitches, then I have started knitting just front and back separately, so I can make this hole for the sleeve. I think the hole for the sleeve, usually for me, I make about 14 centimeters. And then I have connected it back in the round and continued knitting the body and finished with the ribbing, the same for the sleeves. But I wanted to create something with the neckline, so not just leave it plain, and I knew that I didn't want ribbing. So I thought, how do I make this neckline stand up like this, but still be in the very similar stitch like the body? I knew that if I continue knitting like that, well, I assumed if I continue knitting in stockinette, that it would be a bit flimsy and it would possibly roll, because stockinette rolls in the end. That's why we do ribbing most of the time. So what I thought to do, and I tried it and it worked, is I picked up the neckline stitches, but I picked it up with a crochet hook. And I have crocheted the neckline in this, it looks like a stockinette stitch. It's like a waistcoat stitch that I use for my baskets, when I make my baskets. I have a basket here. Give me a sec, I'll bring it so you can see. So the stitch is this kind of, it looks like a stockinette stitch. It's called a waistcoat stitch, I think, in crochet. And what that did is it created a seamless neckline that almost blends with the actual stockinette stitch of the jumper, but stand out. And it's quite firm, so it doesn't fold, because this particular stitch in crochet doesn't roll, and it's thicker, the fabric, so it's more sturdy. And it really worked. So I'm thinking the possibilities are endless, really, with combining crochet with knitting. What I'm going to do, I'm going to, because I do have a tutorial for making these baskets. However, the tutorial is long. It's about 40 minutes, because I take you from the very beginning of how I make the baskets. Excuse the truck outside. Every video there is some kind of noise obstruction. Where we live, it's actually really quiet in the night, but during the day they are building some houses, so there is always trucks passing by. Anyway, I have this tutorial is for making the whole basket, the whole crochet basket, and it's long, so I take you from making the bottom and how to increase for the bottom and how to do the sides. But I'm going to go in there and I'm going to see at what minute I start showing you just the sides of the basket, and then I'm going to put the time. I'm going to link the video, and I'm going to put where you should forward to if you just want to see how I do the sides of the basket, so how I did the neckline. I'm really happy how it came out. It's something that I was missing in my wardrobe, this type of a jumper. And I don't think it's going to be the last one that I make. Maybe another one I can make even wider, experiment with different yarns. But this one for now is enough. I want just to take a break a bit from raglans, which I'm sure that I'm going to go back to. But just to take a bit of break, I'm going to make maybe one more circular, but actually write down what I did. And because again, using the same logic, if with raglan you increase 8 stitches every second round, which is 4 stitches every round, which is what I did here, but increased only in 2 points, then in that case the circular yoke, I can approach it by increasing 40 stitches every 10 rounds equally spaced, or 20 stitches every 5 rounds equally spaced, using my measurements. So I think that would work. And there is another one that I want to try, another construction, which is pretty much like this, increasing only in 2 points here, but then starting the raglan. So then start increasing sleeves and the body as the raglan would be, but in the beginning just doing the body. Maybe that's the next one. Although I did see one pattern that I really liked. I think it's called Colette T, and I think that one uses that construction, which I can experiment on my own, but I really like how this Colette T looks like, so I might try that one for next time. That would be it. I just wanted to talk about this particular project. I hope you're well. I hope you're enjoying your spring. And I'm going to leave you with that and some more footage of me spinning this yarn that I have used for this jumper. Bye for now.
You better tell the truth real fast, and then we're probably done at last. 'Cause I got somewhere to be, and you're done deceiving me into thinking I couldn't do better. Yeah, I know I was probably crazy, thinking someday you'd change. There's nothing left to do now, so I'm playing the game. And so, heartbreaker, I've been working you out. You made loads of mistakes, but none that you talk about. I'm watching every move you make, and I'm on to you. Come on, heartbreaker, give in and surrender to me. You should have probably let me go, but you've got a porcelain ego, talking fast and punching low, making sure that there are no traces of thinking I could have done better. Yeah, I know I was probably crazy, thinking someday you'd change. There's nothing left to do now, so I'm playing the game. And so, heartbreaker, I've been working you out. You made loads of mistakes, but none that you talk about. I'm watching every move you make, and I'm on to you. Come on, heartbreaker, give in and surrender to me. I've been working you out. You made loads of mistakes, but none you talk about.